Hello and welcome everybody. In this video I'm going to be talking about the Austro-Hungarian soldiers in the Middle East. I hope you enjoy. Before getting into the uniform, let's get into a little short history lesson. At the beginning of the First World War, with the involvement of the Ottoman Empire on the side of the Central Powers, Austro-Hungary gained a valuable ally. However, this ally required some help. Due to this, beginning from October 1915, Austro-Hungarian soldiers fought at Gallipoli. These soldiers were so valuable that some might even consider the victory at Gallipoli was due to their contributions. When they were at Gallipoli, they were wearing the European-style wool uniforms, due to the fact that around October, Gallipoli was snowing, so you can't really see much of the khaki drill uniforms being seen around those times. But when they were sent to the Middle East, they were issued with a new uniform. The uniform I'm currently wearing. So, with that short little history lesson out of the way, let's start from the top. On my head, I have a pith helmet. Some keen viewers might notice that it's actually a British pith helmet. Well, why are you wearing a British pith helmet? You see, the thing is, there aren't any proper reproductions of Austro-Hungarian pith helmets. But there were models that were pretty similar to British designs, and this is what I've done. I've gotten a British helmet, removed most of the Britishness out of it, added cockades, and a leather chin strap. And voila! Here we go. We have an Austrian pith helmet. The basic design is pretty much the same, the main difference being the Austrian ones are actually a little bit rounded at the front. But aside from that, it does the job for reenacting purposes. I mean, trust me, you do need a pith helmet, especially if you're going to Gallipoli around August. And yeah, that is really hot and sunny. But I digress. Aside from that, I also have a field-made Feldkappe. These would have been not issued to soldiers, but instead would have been made on the field as personal items, like as personal private purchase items. You can guess how useful it would be in a desert, especially considering the ability to remove its ear flaps and make yourself a little shade. And here's an example of what I just said of being done. The design of the Feldkappe is pretty much identical to the previous models of woolen European designs, albeit it's just made out of the same material as the uniform. It includes 2 brass buttons and a brass cockade of Franz Josef Imperator. For my uniform, I have a custom-made khaki drill Austro-Hungarian 1916 uniform. This uniform would have been issued around 1916 onwards, and it would have seen much of use in the Middle Eastern theater. The basic design is pretty much identical to the European woolen examples. However, they kept the drawstrings on these examples, as you can see here with this soldier. My example also replicates this by having drawstrings just like the M15 version, but also has the 1916 style collars. The uniform has 6 buttons at the front made out of wood, along with shoulder strap buttons made out of wood, which I copied from an original example of an officer's model, as you can see here. Ideally, you want to have zinc or bone buttons as well, but since I was just copying this original, I thought it does the job, and these buttons weren't that expensive, so I can change them anytime I want. Aside from that, just as I said, the uniform pretty much copies the same design as the woolen version, the only difference being the material, and that's about it. I also do have a cravat or a necktie, just like I would have in the European theater. This is due to the fact that it's really useful to have one, especially considering you don't want to chafe your neck with uniforms and you don't want to dirty up your uniform with your sweat and grime and whatnot. So it does serve a dual purpose of actually protecting your neck and protecting your uniform. For the trousers, which is interesting, you don't see the universal knee hosen, the knee trousers as they are called, being copied for khaki drill use. Straight-legged trousers seem to be the norm for pretty much throughout the war for the Middle East, and I have replicated these from a 1915 style trousers, and they're fairly fine. They use the same buttons as the tunic, so wooden buttons, and they are held up by suspenders or braces. For footwear, I sadly don't have my Austro-Hungarian example, but I do have British low boots, ammunition boots, along with British puttees. Well, you might say, wait a minute, that's not correct. You should be wearing Austro-Hungarian boots. And I would say, yes, you're right. I should be wearing Austro-Hungarian boots, but they're a bit expensive. So I'm trying to save up for them. And these are facsimile of Austro-Hungarian boots so far. So it's better than getting German ones, I suppose. But aside from that, puttees, again, I have cocky examples here. They could be field grade, they could be Heckgrau. We don't exactly know. For the equipment you see, I currently am not wearing any. For a regular artilleryman who's in guard duty, from the photographs I've been able to see, they pretty much have the same gear as an infantryman, at least at Gallipoli. But for the Middle East, I've seen just belts and bayonets being used in these few staged photographs. And aside from that, mostly nothing, because they're artillerymen, because they don't really need to fight aside from fighting with a cannon. So no need for lots of equipment unless they're guards or whatnot. So yeah, for weapons, you tend to see two examples of rifles being used. One being the regular Austro-Hungarian M95 Steyr. Both the long infantry and carbine versions are used. This is a 3D printed replica, and it does the job. That's one of the rifles. And the other one, interestingly enough, is the Mosin Nagant rifle. As many of you know, at the beginning of the First World War, Austro-Hungary captured loads of rifles from the Russians. And these rifles were reissued to their soldiers and used for second line duties. And artillerymen being second line, they would have been issued Mosin Nagants. This one is obviously a 1891/30 due to the fact that it has a funny little 1930s sight, but you can't really be complaining when you got this for free from a friend and it is actually, has a bolt that works. So yeah, I'm really happy to have one of these. But yeah, I sincerely hope you guys enjoyed this short little video about the Austro-Hungarian military in the Middle East. And I hope to make more videos about the Ottomans later. So it would be nice to see if you guys have any ideas, anything to say. Please do comment them down below, like, subscribe, and have a good day, guys. Cheers.